Ah. All right, we are live, Beena. We are live.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Moreness-Culture. Good morning, Syl. Good morning, Grain, and good morning to everyone who is going to watch us live. And join us live and we'll watch us recorded later. Happy New Year to everyone because this is our first show in 2025, and this is exciting. Not because of any other reason, but just that we have been doing consistently in throughout the year 2024. In 2024, again, I would say that I'm so thankful and so happy about. And this is the first time, I guess, since my awareness about the regrets and about the guilt and all these things, that I feel completely free of everything at the point of New Year and ending of that year. Because always something, oh my God, I haven't achieved my goals. Oh my God, I was not able to pursue my resolution, New Year resolution throughout this year, and still I'm doing all these things. By this year, I'm feeling so satisfied and so happy and so content, and no regrets, no guilt at all. It's a freedom. It's a freedom right there. That's why I'm so happy about this new year. That my 2024 was amazing.
Yes, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. Yes, mine
completely
too.
out of stress, completely free from stress, completely free from guilt, and also not only that, but 2024 give us a lot. It's a year of progress for us. We were doing a lot. We learned a lot. We shared a lot, and it just paved the road for us for the future. And now, okay, in 2025, we have fresh energy again as usual, and definitely setting my intent to have at least 10 times more than 2024 what we have achieved in that. I just want to be more into this. This is something so brilliant about awareness. Once you are aware of the idea of appropriateness and the idea of moreness, then you have no guilt, no regrets.
Exactly.
So this is super amazing. I don't know how many of you can say with absoluteness that yes, my 2024 ending of 2024 was completely guilt and stress free, regret free. I don't know. My idea, my assumption again is that okay, not many of us can say that, and this is the real freedom, and I'm so excited to share everyone that you can also acquire this. You can also have this at the end of 2025. If you want to be really happy and excited and grateful about the previous year, and be in the next year with full confidence, with full of yourself, with moreness, with guilt free, with regrets free, with stress free, please do start paying attention to right now, because today's choices are writing your future. Make a deliberate choice, be mindful about this, and be more. This is a place where you can be more. Okay, Syl. So while you were sharing all these things, I know that you were having a hard time doing all these things.
It was just today.
Yes.
We had stuff happens. I still can't get TikTok to work. I don't know what's up.
Okay, no problem. No problem. If you want more time, I can keep going on.
No, it's fine. It won't show the camera for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so while you are doing this,
try a different camera.
I was sharing with Syl a very interesting story. It was not a story, just an observation. One of the Indian guy was sharing about there is a community in India. They are very famous for doing a small business. They are like kings of small business, like superstores and grocery stores and things like that. And they are king of that. And people have like really amazing trust on them. People just prefer them on any other salesperson, any other grocery store. So guy was asking, what is magic? And he says that just imagine, I'm going to tell you that how these people have this understanding. So he says that just suppose that if a guy is coming to you and asking for 1 kg sugar, so the normal grocery store person, what they will do, they will fill their scoop, because this is still a system in subcontinent that they have open things in bulk, and then you can just ask whatever you want. We don't have packets. We do have, but still the system, the old system still exists. So it is like, okay, yes, I want 1 kg sugar, or yeah, maybe a quarter more. Okay, this is how we can buy things. Still, this is a freedom we have. So he says that when a guy will come to you, you are going to fill your scoop and then put it in a bag in front of that person, and you start measuring it. And definitely, because you have your full scoop, so you definitely have more than 1 kg. And then you will start measuring it, leveling it, okay, taking out some to have the equal 1000 grams there. And he says that the guy will be looking at it, and he will start thinking that how stingy this man, like he's just measuring all the grams, even all that. But if you will go to that specific community grocery store, what the guy will do, he will deliberately not fill the whole scoop, and he will put the 900 or 850 grams of sugar in the bag. And then while he will be looking at you into your eyes and smile, and then will put more and more and more until we get like really 1 kg. And then he will also put handful of sugar and smile at you.
Oh,
This is that this is the magic that you are not going to forget. What
oh,
I learned from that, it was just a perspective shifting. They both were giving, okay, yes, he added a handful more, but they both were doing the same thing, measuring. But one was taking out and one was putting it in. It was a business tactic also. But if we can see that from a perspective shifting point of view, we can learn a lot from that.
yeah.
Same applies to every day. Instead of focusing on negative, we can focus on positive. And this is what these people do. That they give you something to look for more. Okay, business tactic, but still it works. And I was thinking about this, that how magical perspective shifting is. So that was my
Oh, it's
story.
so
So this
powerful.
is,
It's so
yes,
powerful. All right, we're ready. We're ready. It's
good,
wonderful. Yeah,
good.
yeah,
So my fillers are done.
yeah.
Okay, so we can continue. But because my background
Wow.
is super noisy, so you are going to read today.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Uh, Trying to remember where we stopped yesterday. Uh, all right. I'm just finding the spot. Uh, do you remember what I said, Beena? What where we were?
If you will share a screen, then we will do that, because John Juan was saying that, okay, don't take shower for 3 4 months, and it was
Yeah,
was a big
yeah,
deal for
yeah,
Carlos.
yeah, yeah. Uh, okay, I think this is it. All right, I'll screen share. I'll screen share, and then we can go through that together. Screen share, share. There we go. Okay. Hold on. There we go. There we go. You know, I just a shout out to Joseph. I don't know if you made the comments live or afterwards, but I saw comments later, and I haven't had a chance to respond to them. I've just been so busy. I have some projects which are time sensitive projects, and they long to do. So basically, I spent the whole day
Oh
doing them, and the
yes,
next day, so
yes,
my time is a little bit under pressure. All right.
yes. Thank you so much, Joseph. We really treasure you,
Yeah.
and also Happy New Year.
Yeah. Okay. I think we yeah. Spirit of the waterfall. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. I'm quite far behind here. Uh yeah, seeing is contrary to sorcery. That's very powerful to understand. Don Juan actually says that. Right here. Yeah. Where did he say that? I saw it just a second ago. Yeah. Besides, seeing is contrary to sorcery or perceiving, right? We call it perceiving rather than seeing, because seeing is a poor term. And Don Juan says so too. Perceiving is contrary to sorcery. It makes it irrelevant.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. And then he talked about making things into nothing, which is not having connections to it, not having an interpretation to it, and not having any emotional perception of it or conception, anything. You want to have nothing. You don't want to have anything that causes you to think, yes, we did this okay, mounting one of the bubbles. And then I think we get where they're smoking again, right? But did I perceive? We went that. And how far it? We actually read quite a lot. Yeah, and we talked about this, about his indulging, that he had no sense of understanding it. Yeah. Here we go. It was about control. That's where we were. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I
Yes,
don't
it
think
was
I
about
can.
taking shower.
Right.
Yes.
I don't think I could go without taking a shower. Not laughed until tears rolled down his cheeks. You can't go without a shower. Oh, you poor baby. At times you're so weak, I think you're putting me on. But it is not a joke. At times you really have no control and the forces of your life take you freely. I raised the point that it was humanly impossible to be controlled at all times. This is a deep psychology. There's a lot of Christian theology into it. You're born a sinner and all the stuff, right? He maintained that for a warrior, we'll say spirit warrior, there was nothing out of control. I brought up the idea of accidents and said that what had happened to me at the water canal could certainly be classed as an accident, since I neither meant it nor was I aware of my improper behavior. I talked about different people who had misfortunes that could be explained as accidents. I talked especially about Lucas, a very fine old yucky man who had suffered a serious injury when the truck he was driving overturned. It seems to me it's impossible to avoid accidents, I said. No person can control everything around them. True, Don Juan said cuttingly. But not everything is an unavoidable accident. Lucas doesn't live like a spirit warrior. If he did, he'd know that he is waiting and what he is waiting for. And he wouldn't have driven that truck while he was drunk. He crashed against the rock side of the road because he was drunk and mangled his body for nothing. Life for a warrior, a spirit warrior, is an exercise in strategy. Life for a spirit warrior is an exercise in strategy. Yeah. Now, why do I say spirit warrior rather than warrior? Because I'm taking this concept of warrior a little bit further. Warrior doesn't mean something connected to martial, right? Fighting war. Yes, the qualities that make a warrior successful in battle, because you're dealing with death. You've got to be disciplined. You've got to have integrity. You've got to be thorough. You've got to be scrupulous. You've got to be strategic. It is those character qualities that are important, not your actual ability to fight. Yes, physically, in other words, but your ability to make effort, appropriate effort. This is key. Yeah. So it's about character. And when we say spirit warrior, now you're engaged in things that are connected to spirit. Now all of those qualities like integrity and strategy and discipline and all of the, now it starts to make sense. Yeah. You need to have the warrior side to deal with unawareness, to deal with our foolishness, to deal with our nonsense, right? And so spirit warrior makes it clear and very obvious. There are many other terms, just one that I happen to use. Again, it's about not getting locked into terms. Yes, I mean we could use the term uh, life improver. There you go, same thing, yeah. Or mourners wanter. See, it's hard to find nice terms, but yeah, spirit warrior, it's something I've been using and it works. So, I do this because it's about learning to conceptualize, make your own conceptions, understand what Don Juan means by a warrior, and say, well, if this doesn't work for you, find a term that does work and that brings the understanding of what it's about. And the term doesn't matter. Yeah? But terminology can have associations, and our brain links things automatically. Yeah? It's like you have your computer's programmed to tag things in certain ways. Well, that's hard to overcome in your brain, so just retag it, and then you don't have to change the whole system. Right? Very, 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 very strategic mechanism. Yeah? Strategy, very, very important. Life for a spirit warrior is an exercise in strategy. Don Juan went on. But you want to find the meaning of life. Oh, a spirit warrior doesn't care about meanings. If Lucas lived like a warrior, and he had a chance to, as we all have a chance to, he would have set his life strategically. Thus, if he couldn't avoid an accident that crushed his ribs, he would have found means to offset that handicap or avoid its consequences or battle against them. If Lucas were a spirit warrior, he wouldn't be sitting in his dingy house dying of starvation. He would be battling to the end. Yeah, perseverance, persistence, capital P, perseverance, capital P, persistence. Yes, this is very, very powerful qualities. Yeah, very, very powerful. Making the best of things, shifting your perspective, figuring out a way to turn a disadvantage into an advantage, understanding about fortuitous mistakes. So many strategies to help us deal with life. Yeah? Very, very powerful stuff. Yeah. I posed an alternative to Don Juan, using him as an example, and asked him what would be the outcome if he himself were to be involved in an accident that severed his legs. If I cannot help it and I lose my legs, I won't be able to be a man anymore, so I will join that which is waiting for me out there. Don Juan is very clear here. He says that if the result is unacceptable, there is always the choice of death. You don't have to live that way. If it's horrible, then don't live that way. Very simple. We assume always that death is the worst than everything else. It's not. There are many things worse than death. Yeah? So you always have that choice. Yeah? It's always a choice. So if you do choose that, then don't complain. You're choosing it. You're choosing it. He made a sweeping gesture with his hands to point to all around him. I argued he had misunderstood me, and I'm going to leave out Carlos's unnecessary that's. Yep. Just as an editor, we use that in writing too much, right? I argued that he had misunderstood me. I argued he had misunderstood me. It's much smoother. What's the that there for? It's not there at all. It's wasted. It's unnecessary, right? I argued he had misunderstood me. I had meant to point out it was impossible for any single individual to foresee all the variables involved in their day-to-day actions. All I can say to you is that a warrior is never available. Never are they standing on the road waiting to be clobbered. Thus, they cut to a minimum the chances of the unforeseen. What you call accidents are, most of the time, very easy to avoid, except for fools who are living helter-skelter. It is not possible to live strategically all the time, I complained. All right, he didn't say complained here, he said, I said, but, this is Carlos
But it's
complaining. He
a
doesn't want
very
to...
funny way to mimic Carlos here. Really.
Well, because Carlos is being childish and immature and is indulging in not wanting to take responsibility. Of
Yes,
course, we
I
can
understand.
live strategically all the time. Of course.
Yes.
Right. But I love this. But let me read this again. It is not possible to live strategically all the time. I want to put a bit of a whininess into the tone there, right?
That was good, actually. I was just
Oh,
saying that.
all right. Imagine that someone is waiting for you with a powerful rifle with a telescopic sight. He could spot you accurately 500 yards away. What would you do? Absolutely love this. Don Juan looked at me with an air of disbelief and then broke into laughter. What would you do? I urged him. If someone is waiting for me with a rifle with a telescopic sight, he said, obviously mocking me. If someone is hiding out of sight, waiting for you, you won't have a chance. You can't stop that bullet. No, I can't. But you still don't understand your point. My point is that all your strategy cannot help you be of any help in a situation like that. So where? Like really so childish as Carlos here. Okay, but it can. If someone is waiting for me with a powerful rifle with a telescopic sight, I simply will not come around. If someone is waiting for me with a powerful rifle with a telescopic sight, I simply will not come around, says Don Juan. End of the chapter. Beena, what do you think?
I think that, yes, I always say that you are a bit harsh with Carlos, but this time I agree.
It's appropriate. Right.
Yes,
This time
absolutely.
it's appropriate. But what do you think of Don Juan's reply to this? I love this. This is always stuck in my
Yes,
mind. I think this is a
yes,
most fantastic response.
yes, yes.
But I can hear Carlos still. Yeah, but how? Carlos wants to have them all. And Carlos, I have one word for you. Just one. Attunement.
Exactly, exactly.
This is how you not come around, by paying attention to attunement. I cannot, in the limitations of my selfness, which I imagine to be all of things, it's not the only way to live. When you live in attunement, attunement is connected to what's going on that I can't see. And I will trust attunement to say, oh, you know what, something will happen, and oh well, if I had to go there. I'm on the route. It's an important meeting, and attunement says, no, my car breaks down, or something weird happens, like today. Weird stuff happened, and we started late. I trust it's appropriate. Yeah, I trust. Who knows? Maybe somebody was can only who know. I have no idea why. But I have seen, I have experienced such happenings in my life many times. But I also like to be somewhat scientifically minded, so I pay attention, and I paid attention to when these things happened, to what comes afterwards. Yes, so that I can see the cause and effect. And sometimes it took many days, weeks, months, sometimes years, sometimes decades later. Now I see why that happened. Right? But I always wanted to know why. And I've many times later on come to see the reason why that anomaly happened, and my path was diverted, and I had to go in that thing. So now I don't question. I don't need to, because I've seen it many times, that they always, every single time, was a good reason. I couldn't see the good reason at the time, but I saw it afterwards. Now I am able to imagine good reasons, and oftentimes, I'm like, okay, I can figure it out, and then I can see the good reason in real time, because I've trained my brain to think in a different way. This is incredibly powerful. Furthermore, if if attunement puts me in the path of that rifle with a telescopic sight, and I get shot, I will then know it is the most appropriate thing. Let me ask anybody out there, would you give your life to save the world, your country, your family? You say, yes, of course. Think about that. Inside you, you have this understanding that you are willing to give your life if it really matters, if it makes a difference, if there's a good reason for it. You're willing to do this. So you have that inside you already. And so the universe says, oh, I need somebody for the greater good. Oh, okay, well, here we go. This person has said they're willing to do it. Okay, here you go. You have no idea what the consequence is of that particular thing that's happening, right? I mean, that accident to Lucas could have caused a lot of good for many people. Yeah. in terms of learning to learn a lesson, don't drive wrong. Who knows? We have no idea what the consequences of things are. But when we
Yes.
understand that they can have profound consequences, then realize, right? And be willing, if you have that intent, yeah, say, okay, then that's it. This is my fate. I'm willing to accept it. Why? Because I have an intent to moreness. If there's a moreness that's coming out of it, fair enough. Okay. And I'm not going to complain. Very, 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 very powerful underlying psychology. Right? Now, Don Juan doesn't talk about attunement here, but this would be an appropriate. All this big white space here, this is all for what I was just saying. Understanding attunement. It's lacking as a concept for both Don Juan and Carlos. Don Juan lives by attunement, but he doesn't have the conception of attunement to share with Carlos. Right? And so there's a gap here that we have to fill in. And fine, that's the magic of this particular book series. Yes, it gives us so much, but it also says you have to take it further. A lot of these things are unfinished, they're unresolved. And that's what I've done. Yeah. Why? Because this series came to me as a consequence of a very, very specific, particular, deep,
Yes.
and very energized intent. I intended it, and it came into my life. I never, ever intended answers. That was never what I looked for. I wanted tools to be able to use. And one of the tools is learning to figure it out for yourself. So basically, you get the puzzle, you get the unfinished thing that you have to finish. Yes, this was an incredible gift to me because this came at the end of my great reading project where I read all the classics in chronological order. My intent was learning and growing, not to fill up my database with, oh, I've read this book and I've read this book and I've read. No, I couldn't be bothered by that. That's why people read them to say, oh, I've read this. I couldn't be bothered with ego stuff. I was very, very serious about learning and self-improvement and growing and change and developing myself. So this was a fantastic materialization of intent. Very, very powerful. All right. So now we leave that point there, right, about not coming around with a rifle, and we're going to go on to a new point. Typically, one should really stop at times like these. You should just leave it right there, which actually I think I'm going to do, instead of starting the new section, because it's so powerful, right, Beena? I don't want to start a new thing and then
Yes.
devalue this. So we have it
Yes.
short and
Yes.
sweet today. Short and sweet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Any comments on this point, Beena?
Just a minute. I was just
Okay.
moving here. Yes. Okay. Sorry for the pause. This is something that when you mentioned about the attunement and having, I think personally, now I understand, or you can say that realize that I cannot, I don't know about others, but I can say about myself, I cannot be able to extract maximum value from attunement if I don't have capital P patience.
Yeah.
It's like duh.
Yeah.
Person like me in the past would not be able
Yeah.
to follow attunement. I would not be able to
You
get the
have to have it. It's why patience is a superpower. I keep saying this. This
yes.
is my term that I've brought into it. See, Don Juan talks about patience, yes, but not as patience as a superpower. When you understand it, it's a superpower, precisely for this reason. Carry on, please, Beena.
Exactly, because attunement, to get the value out of it, you have to
Exactly.
have, of course, patience in yourself, but also you have to
Yes.
leverage your trust, capital T trust, that you are
Yes.
not the only one here empowered in this whole universe. Universe also
Yeah.
has that. Not only only your intent is going to work or function, but
Yeah.
also universe's intent is also in play. So
Yeah.
we have to understand that not only patience but also the understanding that there is more than myself existing. There are more powers in this whole situation, existing just by myself, just other than myself,
yeah,
you can say that. And this is the understanding for attunement, because attunement is what attunement is, or following attunement. Attunement is to have patience and have trust that things are going to happen in that particular way. The
yeah,
solutions will come to me, and of course I have to follow that and have this trust. This is super brilliant, so thank you so
yeah,
much for
yeah,
sharing this.
yeah, yeah. All right. So I was just fiddling around a little bit here, and well, we're now streaming on TikTok, even though we're about to leave. So sorry, TikTokers. It's a very quick one. It's automatic
Yes,
via restream, but we're making a point about strategy and the importance of living strategically. And just to recap what we said for TikTok here, so that there is at least something valuable, right? Carlos raised this hypothetical, and Carlos says, if someone is waiting for me with a rifle with a telescopic sight, and right, he asked Don Juan, what would you do? And Don Juan said, if someone is hiding out of sight, waiting for you. Oh no, this is Carlos. Carlos says, if someone is hiding for you, hiding out of sight, waiting for you, you won't have a chance. You can't stop the bullet. No, I can't, says Don Juan. But I still don't understand your point, Carlos says. My point is that all your strategy cannot be of any help in a situation like that. It's a little bit extra beforehand. That's why I put the whiny tone to Carlos's voice here, because he's trying to make a point that you can't always be in control, because you don't want to accept this responsibility, right? So, and Carlos was talking about, I mean, Don Juan was talking about living strategically, right? And Carlos had said it's not possible to live strategically all the time. Nonsense. Yeah. So Don Juan ends this by saying, right? Carlos says, my point is that all your strategy cannot be of any help in a situation like that. Don Juan replies, oh, but it can. If someone is waiting for me with a powerful rifle with a telescopic sight, I simply will not come around. And the chapter ends there. It's left there. And the point that Beena and I were discussing is that this is about living in attunement. This is how we come to not be there. In that case with Don Juan, he's walking around happily, and some anomaly happens, which is part of attunement. You pay attention to anomalies, and it says, "Oh, go this way, don't go that way," or something weird happens, like let's say he's going to an important business meeting and he gets a flat tire or something, and now he can't go, right? And like, dang it, and you're all upset with missing your meeting. But when you understand about attunement, you understand that things happen for a good reason that you're not aware of. Some stupid idiot was waiting with a rifle, and you were the unlucky random person. It's not that anything to do with you. They were just going to be shooting people, and okay, well, then you weren't there, so you didn't get shot, right? And I actually, if you look at stories of plane crashes, right? Since there was now recently a big plane crash, but if you look at those plane crashes where everybody died, and then you just look it up, and you'll see this so many times. I've seen this many times, that there were people who did not get onto that plane, and their story always is, something happened, and to them it was just they were lucky. They don't understand that it is attunement that kept them off the plane. It's very, very powerful. When you hear those stories, something weird, something unusual, something anomalous happened, and they say, oh, I didn't get on the plane. Right? And of course, like I said, too, if it is your fate to be on the plane, then it's your fate. That's it. We have to accept this too. And when you understand that everything that from an attunement point of view, it happens for a good reason. We just have to find the good reason. Many people struggle to see good reasons in tragedy, but there are many good reasons. Nonetheless, right? If not any single thing, it makes us aware of death, that death can strike you anytime. That alone is valuable, because most people don't live leveraging their deaths, and they live like they're immortal. And then they get later on in their lives and like, oh my gosh, I've been wasting my life. I haven't been paying attention to things that are important. Yeah?
Mm.
So there's
Yes.
see what I mean? There's value to it.
Yes.
But the point here with Don Juan saying, I simply will not come around. Why? Because Don Juan lives via attunement. He doesn't use the term attunement, but he actually does live via attunement. So he knows that that the universe attunement will take care of it. Something will happen to divert him, and he just won't come around. Right? It's not that he will deliberately not come around. In a way, yes, but he won't be aware. He'll just know that where he is the right place to be, and he won't be in the wrong place because he lives by attunement, right? And I've seen this many times in my own life because I also live by attunement, right? And this concept of attunement is incredibly and ridiculously and fantastically powerful and important, right? So for the TikTokers, that's what I want to pay attention to, right? Just make this point about living in attunement and how wonderfully, potently, magically awesome it is, right? Attunement is a big concept. There's a lot to it. I'm just putting out the concept there. You can kind of figure it out for yourself from what I'm saying, because it involves anomalies and alignment and all of the stuff. But still, it's there. Be aware. Different ways to live. If you really want to know more, just ask us. Just by leaving comments. Just ask. Just ask. We are very easily accessible. You can find us very easily if you want to know more, right? Or you can look up on YouTube of that where attunement, just search Syl Sabastian attunement and you'll find it. Any comments
And you
before
can,
we go,
and
Beena?
yes, and
Oh,
also you can find us with just typing the Moreness Show, and you will find us
there you go.
because we are
There
we
you
are
go.
doing our show also
Yeah,
on Board Brave TV. And
right.
why we are saying this again? It's a huge misunderstanding that when we
Yeah,
say, especially when I say that okay, please do click like and subscribe to our channel. I'm
yeah.
not promoting myself. My intent is to promote sharing. My intent is to promote moreness.
Exactly.
Not
Exactly.
Beena, not Syl, but
Exactly.
moreness
We don't
and
care.
others.
Exactly.
Yes. So, yes, by default, this is about us because we are doing it. But
No.
the intent is, so we have to focus on our intent. That my intent is to share, promote sharing, and promote
Yeah,
moreness. This is what we are
yeah,
doing. And the same thing applies to our moreness show because this is what we do in a more fun way, of course, because
yeah,
there we are more relaxed and very precise also because of the time limitation. But we are practicing here too. We can go on and on and on about this topic because this is what we live by. This is what
yeah,
we are.
yeah,
This is who we are.
yeah,
So for us, it's never ending thing. We never get tired. We never get bored with this thing. We never get exhausted because this is who we are inside and out. Okay, this is what I can say about it. Because yes, it
yeah.
can be heavy, it can be very deep, it can be, yes, sometimes too much for many people,
Oh,
but
yeah.
follow it as appropriate. If you can watch it or if you can listen to it just for 10 minutes, still it is good. I know for
Exactly.
sure it is valuable because in 10
Exactly.
minutes, I know you can pick a lot. This is
Yeah,
something I am sharing with my experience. Not because that Sil is sharing, because he is my bestie, but I'm saying this because of my experience. Because of my experience that
oh, yeah,
yes, even if you will listen to it with of course with openness, with an intent to
yeah,
learn, to grow, you will pick a lot in just 10 minutes. So this is the idea of
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
we can do
yeah,
it in
yeah.
2025. Every day, a new chapter, a new possibility for all of us to
A
learn
new
and grow.
moreness, a new moreness.
Exactly, a new bonus for us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Ah,
Okay, please, if you
bye bye,
find us
bye
on
bye.
YouTube, please do click like and
Yeah,
subscribe to this
yeah.
channel because by doing so, you are going to show universe that you are making deliberate choices and you
Very
are on the
important.
path of living deliberate living. This is what you are
Yes,
telling universe, and it is going
yes.
to be. I can assure you that okay, even if you will keep doing it for next year, this year now, for
Yeah,
365 days, your life will
yeah, yeah,
transform
yeah, yeah.
amazingly. You
Yep.
will transform amazingly because this is the first step towards deliberate living. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Yes. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye. See you tomorrow. See you soon, Beena.